Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for all 600 of you. 600 of you. I can't count, I'm sorry. That decided to subscribe to this guy.
Oh, God!
Right here.
No, God, please, no!
What's wrong
no!
with you?
No!
Seriously.
No!
My mom thinks I'm weird, okay? I've honestly been really feeling stressed, depressed, frustrated about making content. I've had periods where I do hardly anything, and then here's a video, or there's a video, and then there's other times where I'm just hitting it really hard, and it's video after video after video after video. But I wear myself out, and I get really down about making content because I've been doing this for 7 years. Hey, I counted right that time! Woo! I don't know, there's been a lot of times where I'm like, I should quit. Lately I've been feeling the same thing, just quit. It's too much, it's so hard. It's so taxing, it's so time consuming. The editing process is a nightmare. Maybe it's because I am a perfectionist and I want to get it exactly the way I want it to. And then I have so many technical issues with apps freezing and not saving my work, or something else goes wrong and I'm like, why do you hate me? I just want to thank all of you who watch my content, or tolerate my content, or retweet, follow, subscribe. Like, it means a lot. It really does. And to celebrate 600 subscribers, I wanted to do a Q&A. I'm going to go through these. I have them pulled up on my laptop right over here. And I'm going to start with this jolly guy who has been so kind to me, and even though we share a lot of differences in opinions sometimes, he's been a really great guy, and I can see that he also struggles with the content thing like I do, but I don't know how he's always so jolly and so happy, but Mr. Sega Blocks in the house with a really weird ass question, because that's just how he do. So he says, Phil1Up, if you had to choose between the 3 to never taste again, never see again, and never hear again, which would you choose? Well, I'm gonna say that I'm probably gonna want to choose to see, because if I can't see, it'd be really hard to play video games, and as someone that deals with eyesight issues already, it's scary. It really is. I've had an eye condition that I've dealt with for a lot of years. I don't know if it's due to my weight. Not much can do about it. So it's kind of scary to have your vision so blurry and messed up all the time. But I would probably go ahead and get rid of the other ones. It would be really hard not to taste ever again. But the opposite side, I'd probably be a lot thinner than I am when it goes to losing weight, because I can't taste anything, so food and drinks don't really matter. It's just something to consume to get me through the next day, and not really to enjoy. So, I hope that kind of answers your question. Really weird, oddball question, but that's why I love you, because you're weird and you're oddball. And, Sega for life, biatches! Atlas in the house! Woo! I don't know what's wrong with me. Okay, moving on to the next question. PC Pirate Canvas V8 asks, what do you think of Resident Evil franchise as a whole? Oh, this is a good question. So first off, I love survival horror. There used to be a time where I did not. I used to be really scared of that stuff. And it scared me so bad that I was like, nope, I'm done. I got over that and now I love it. What I have to say about the franchise as a whole, it almost kind of like going through puberty or into adulthood, kind of, because it's like Capcom was fun, excited little kid, happy, and then they get to that freaking brooding teenage phase where they're an asshole to everybody and nobody likes them with all those poor ass decisions they did in the mid 2000s and so, with microtransaction bullshit and this and that. And then they became an adult and they're cool, they got it together, here's a remake, there's a remake, cool stuff has happened. I didn't really like the stuff they did to remake 3, taking stuff out. That's bullshit, and they need to make a director's cut and put that back in. But overall, aside from those horrible live action movies, I think it's okay. I think it's doing pretty good. I really hope they do a Code Veronica remake. They really need to do a Code Veronica remake. You really need to do a Code Veronica remake, Capcom. You hear me? I'm whispering to signify how important that is. Also, Outbreak, because Outbreak is badass, and that's probably the best co-op experience for Resident Evil, aside from Mercenaries and Raid Mode and Revelations 1 and 2. Those are really cool multiplayer modes, by the way. That answers your question. Just hope they don't make any more stupid-ass mistakes. Also, I need my Dragon's Dogma 2. I need it, Capcom. Now, moving on. Shelly Steam Deck asks, I believe you talked about it a little bit on the Cold Nights podcast. Check out Jay's channel, Cold Nights. He's like the waifu of the husbanders. Everybody loves Jay. But what are some of the games you played when you were younger that made you into the gamer you are today? This is a great question. So, when I was really young, I was hardcore TMNT fanatic, like most kids in the late 80s and early 90s. I had the pajamas with the bandana. I had the big ass slippers when you got out of bed. I had big old turtle heads on it. I wish I still had a pair of those. I was all in, had all the toys. So I really liked the games, but that first game on NES was so hard. I remember crying because I couldn't beat it. Stupid underwater levels with the bombs and the seaweed and the made me rage so much. But the arcade one, where it's like the building was on fire and you have to save April and fight Bebop and Rocksteady at the end of the first level, and then Turtles in Time. Oh my gosh, I loved Turtles in Time. That is like one of my favorite Super Nintendo games of all time. But what really got me into gaming is when my uncle had bought a PlayStation for me, and I was poor. I didn't even know that games could be on discs at all. Had no idea. I thought it was only for CDs. So I remember I'm getting this gray looking box that says PlayStation on. I was like disappointed because I thought it was a CD player, which it is. It plays the music CDs, but that's all I thought it was until I flipped the back of the box and saw it looked like games. And I remember hooking that up, and I started it, and it got me Crash Bandicoot, and I put the disc in, and I was watching the cutscene. I was like, this is really cool. but it kind of reminded me of Donkey Kong on the Super Nintendo, so I was used to kind of those 3D intros, right? So I didn't think anything of it. But it's when he's face planted on the beach of the first level in the original Crash Bandicoot, and I'm just sitting there with my controller waiting for the cutscene to end, because I still thought it was the cutscene. And I waited, and a minute or two passed, and I'm still waving, and I'm like, oh no, I think the game machine's broken. And then I flick the analog stick, and he gets up and he moves, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the game! I'm actually playing this! And my little mind was like, and I'm like moving, and I'm like, this is 3D, and I'm actually playing. This is so cool. That was when my first mind was exploded. But it wasn't until I played Final Fantasy VIII. My uncle had that game, and he brought it down. And I never knew what a JRPG is, never played one before in my life. And he brought this down, and I see that the case was bigger than normal PlayStation games. It was like this big, and I was like, what is that? He opens it up, and there's like 4 discs in there. I'm like, what the heck? This must be a massive game or something. I thought all these games are only on 1 disc. And puts it in, I see that opening cutscene, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is freaking amazing. And then I'm playing it, you're in that first town, and I'm like, whatever, they're just talking a lot, whatnot. And then I walk out of the town for the first time, and I see that open world map, and I see how tiny my character is to everything around me, and I'm just like, this is insane. Like, my mind was open to the possibility of what gaming could be. Like, how big it could become. Like, this wasn't a little kid's toy anymore. This wasn't something that parents said, it'll rot your brain. This was real entertainment. And that's what really set me on the path to being a gamer today. And, yeah, so that was a really long response, but I hope you appreciated the answer to that question. Moving on. Next up, do you nerd? What is up, nerdlings? Woo! Okay. 2 parts. What does collecting mean to you? And do you have an end goal to collecting, or is it something that will always go on? Okay, so it's great that you asked these 2-part questions. So to me, what collecting means to me is, for a long time, I grew up and I didn't really get to collect. I didn't have the money for things growing up with a single parent, and money was always thin. I didn't really have a lot of games. So my uncle, he would always come down, he would bring new games, and we would play, and we would spend that time together, and those years meant so much to me. Stupid me, I got rid of a lot of games that used to be his, that he gave to me, but it made me really think about what collecting means. I feel like everybody's kind of got a little too caught up in the FOMO, and people have lost that spark to really collecting and what it really means, that sentimental value, where it means something to you. Now it's just like, buy it because it's rare, or it's going to have a small print. But we know that's not always true. And I kind of got crazy into all that, like everybody is. But what collecting really means to me is something I genuinely, truly love. Something that I really care about. Like NECA Ninja Turtles. Having these highly articulated figures that look like the cartoon in the movies I used to watch as a kid. That's something really worth collecting, because that's something that mattered to me growing up in a time when I was really young. Something I genuinely love. I have tons of stuff on my shelf over here that's probably not even worth having on my shelf. And I've actually been contemplating about downsizing a lot of it and then using that money to buy games that I foolishly got rid of when I was young, even though they'll be stupid expensive now, or buying back games that used to be my uncle's. And I thought hard about this over time, and I just feel so much woes and burnout when it comes to collecting. There's so many games coming out all the time, and we don't even have time to play all the games that we have. I probably played 1% of those, if that. So, to me, I feel like collecting is kind of losing its real purpose now. It just seems like a big bragging right, and it doesn't really seem like people are genuine about it. It seems like they just want to have a bunch of stuff, so they say they have a bunch of stuff, and then people will follow them and like them and subscribe to them and give them the, social media bucks or whatever. And I don't really want that, especially on my budget. So I feel like with things like the Steam Deck being popular will only become more popular. I'll probably emulate a lot of stuff that I just can't afford, and I'll probably go that route. So to me, I feel like this generation PS5, with so many patches and updates and my really garbage ass internet not being able to keep up with it, this will probably be the last real generation for me to collect. I'll probably still buy games here and there, but it's not going to be all of the games that I have like this. It'll be much smaller in scope. So there is an end in sight for me, but I feel like I'm going to just downsize and maybe go for some of those nostalgic games that I used to love so much. So hope that answers your question. Next up is this little cutie sweetie pie. Natty Alley, when did you decide to collect physical games and why? Were you always a game collector? No, I wasn't always a game collector. To me, it was like a toy when I was a kid. I would play the NES, Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt here and there. I'd play Super Nintendo here and there, but it wasn't really a collector till me and my uncle really started spending time together, and I saw there were PlayStation magazines, Nintendo Power, and all this information about all these games, and then GameStop opened up and became a thing, and you could go there and see all these games, and that's when I really started to see that this was just more than something to buy at Walmart to get your kid to leave you alone for a few hours, Because to me, I saw video games back then as no different than my $3 to $4 Ninja Turtle toy that my mom would buy me at Walmart occasionally. So, yeah, it was probably, I'd probably say 13, 14 when I really started getting into gaming, but I didn't really get to start collecting till I was in the PS3 generation. Like I said, didn't have a lot of money. I was kind of poor, so a lot of games that I would have loved to have in my collection now, I don't have because I started so late. But yeah, that's kind of the time when I became a gamer, and that's kind of how I saw video games when I was a child. Moving on. Faithful gamer, Lacy Stanky Underpants, my best bud, I loves you, asks, what was one of your least favorite games and why? I'm twisting a mustache that I don't have because I shaved. I can't wait to see this. She should already know what it is, and I'm going to trigger a lot of people, but I don't care. Final mother fudging 15!
No! God, please, no! No! No!
That game is so bad. Like, oh my goodness. I could be here for hours talking about why I despise this game. From the opening where they mock Final Fantasy fans by saying, a Final Fantasy for first-timers. This is disrespectful to me, okay? This game should have been canceled. It was so bad. It was so bad. Spending hours driving in that stupid-ass car that couldn't even go off roads when they first launched the game. Needing a movie and an anime in order to understand even the basic principles of what the is going on in this garbage game that is held together by duct tape. Oh my gosh. I forced myself to get the platinum for that. And I did so not because I enjoyed it. I did so that I would never, ever have a reason to go back and visit that travesty. And that has burned me so bad that I am very, very apprehensive about Final Fantasy 16. Like, I am very in the nope categories. Like, I don't trust them. I don't believe it. I don't know. I just, And I'll be honest with you. I know Nomura is so pissed off by that because him trying to put 15 Vertium Rex stuff in Kingdom Hearts and revive his original vision for it, because when we first saw that on the PS3 way back when, what they were planning to do with it looked so cool. And then they just kept changing it and delaying it and removing characters and just, oh my gosh, they turned it into a big fat wet fart! So yes, I don't like 15. If you like it, I still love you, but why? Anyways, I hope that answers your question. Moving on. This is a really fun, by the way. Okay, moving on. Fem Trooper. Oh yeah. I love that name. How do you play your games? One at a time? Multiple at once? Do you have a system? Okay, so technically, I like to play games one at a time. Having so many games started at once, it kind of leaves you with, what was I doing in this game? I don't remember. How do I move? How do I jump? Why did I just use all my healing potions? Oh, because I'm still playing that other game in my head. So, I actually don't like to start 15 million games. Now, if it's for like a different console, so you have one going on your PlayStation and one going on your Switch, that's okay. Or maybe if you have, one going on the Switch, one going on the PlayStation, and then you have friends that you play with, so you have that multiplayer game that y'all play together. That's cool. But I can't be that person that's like, I'm going to start all these games and play like 5 hours into each one, and then just leave them and then start more games, and then I'm going to be like, what? No, I can't do that. So, yeah, I have to focus on specific games and just go into that until I'm finished. I can't start multiple, so hope that answers your question. Good question. So it looks like that comes to the end of all my questions. I want to thank everybody for taking the time out of their day to ask one of those questions. I'm sorry it took me a little bit to get this video out, but I just want to say how much I appreciate each and every one of you for supporting me. Even when I'm struggling with making content and not really feeling confident all the time, not knowing if I'm going to continue or not going to continue, because every day it feels like I change my mind. I have been feeling like I may have to pull back, though, kind of figure out what I want to do when it comes to content. definitely podcast, solo in with Jay, maybe a monthly pickups, because I let my game collecting go on way too long, and I have stuff from October till now that I have not opened. Here, boy, so many games. So yeah, I really need to sit down and put out several unboxing videos and get that back under control, and then do a monthly pickups so that it's not so overwhelming. And then I just want to stream, because I haven't really sat down and played games, and I've been having fun streaming on Twitch. I might do some more streams on YouTube, like some on Twitch, some on YouTube. I need to figure out a schedule, but I've been having fun with that, assuming my internet will hold out enough to actually let me do it, because it's so finicky. But yeah, that's kind of plans right now. I just have to revitalize my love for making content, because it's right now, if I'm honest. Even after the rebrand, it's been kind of, but I still appreciate each and every one of you, and I want to continue to still put out something for y'all. It's just, I gotta find my mojo. And right now, Austin Powers is not here to fill me back up. What you say? That actually, I realized how long that sounded. Anyways, that's the video, so thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider hitting that sub button. That's how you join the 1UP family. And if you are subscribed, like, comment, and share this video for more additional 1UPs. I would greatly appreciate it. And like always, happy gaming, and let's all 1UP our collections together. Alright, bye!